Chapter 7, Joys of D Ranks. A couple of years have passed and Naruto and Hinata have grown quite a bit. They were now both 10 years old and each of them were slightly taller than kids of the same age due to their constant training. Both Naruto and Hinata were very strong when compared to others of their age, if you could even compare. In the academy, physical shinobi conditioning and training only start when the students are 12 years old, in which they learn the academy taijutsu style coupled with ninjutsu. If they were to face Naruto or Hinata, they would get demolished. They were both well-rounded shinobi, however Naruto still couldn't cast a low-level genjutsu without Sharingan to save his life. Actually, he found it easier to cast high-ranking genjutsus that required more chakra than low-level ones. Even though Naruto focused a lot in chakra control, bringing it to Jonin levels, he still couldn't do a single bushin. He either did at least 50 or the one will fail. Naruto finally mastered bow staff but decided to learn kenjutsu since his mother was one of the best in the leaf. Since he couldn't get in most shops, he bought couple of books in weapons forging. Since he had fire nature, he decided to forge his own weapons with scrap metal and other weapons he found in training fields. In time he would buy chakra metal for a proper sword. In fact, both of them learned kenjutsu in the same style, however Naruto favored speed and strength and Hinata, being more flexible, preferred to dodge the strikes. This type of kenjutsu style, much like his taijutsu, was based on parrying or dodging the attacks with quick strikes meant to end the battle in one strike. This was the kenjutsu style of the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki Kushina before her death was on par with the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. This group was composed by the greatest swordsmen of the mist and were not to be underestimated. In fact, each of their swords had special abilities that favored each of their styles. Kushina in fact was known as Konoha's Red Death due to her crimson red hair color. Naruto also learned the gentle fist with Hinata and both practiced until perfected. Even though Naruto's Sharingan couldn't see the chakra points, he adapted the style for pressure points. One of the problems they had was Hinata's low chakra pool, so they focused on that for almost last year and managed to increase her levels quite a bit. She had low Jonin chakra levels and cage level control. Naruto had high cage chakra levels and Jonin level control. Naruto realized that Hinata was actually quite proficient in the gentle fist and asked her why did their family treat that badly when she was quite talented. The fact was that in order to learn the gentle fist effectively and train their stances and techniques, one would have to use another as test subject, and closing tenketsus was quite painful, so Hinata refused to the branch members. Hinata was too kind to even try and harm someone in order to train, but with Naruto that wasn't a problem. Naruto used the shadow clone techniques to provide Hinata as much guinea pigs as she wanted. In doing so, her technique skyrocketed and she even managed to hold her ground against Naruto in taijutsu. In ninjutsu they both mastered their chosen affinities and the jutsu they had. Hinata started in wind and Naruto started in lightning. One interesting fact was that Naruto discovered was that he had high lightning affinity similar to Nidame's water affinity. In fact, Naruto wasn't really a sensor in the normal term since he didn't sense chakra. Naruto, due to his lightning affinity, could actually feel the bioelectricity of the people around him. Knowing that he had such an affinity, he started investing more and more in this element. He went to his father's library and gathered all the lightning techniques that he could. Now we find Naruto walking through the village heading for the Hokage Tower. The villagers still sent the usual glares and they would still try and harm him, but now with his training he managed to escape. He could have fought them, but he chose not to harm them. He didn't want to give the poor Hokage more paperwork. Hokage Tower He arrived at the Hokage Tower and made his way up. Arriving at the Hokage's office, he turned to the secretary. He never liked her and the feeling was mutual. She was one of the idiotic civilians who couldn't tell the difference between a scroll and sealed kunai. Just let it go, kid, someday they will understand, the Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded inwardly. Good morning, I came to talk with the Hokage, is he available? Naruto asked politely, as he for once didn't want trouble. She looked up and saw that thing in front of her and with a disgusting face said, what would the Hokage want with a thing like you? She spat. You should be careful on how you address me. One wrong word and I have permission to separate your head from your shoulders, he said in a serious tone while releasing a bit of killer intent, as she was a civilian and too much could kill her. The Hokage will see you now, she quickly said, fearing for her life while showing a false smile. Naruto opened the door to see a smiling face of the Hokage. Naruto-kun, how have you been? The Hokage asked. I'm fine, actually I have a favor to ask you, he said, to which the Hokage raised an eyebrow. I'll do my best. What do you need? He said. Well, you see, I'm running a bit low on cash this month and I know that I'm not a shinobi yet, but would it possible for me to get a couple of D ranks? he said, looking at the Hokage's thinking face. The Hokage pondered the situation. Genins always hate these missions and they tend to stockpile, besides it couldn't hurt, he thought. Sure, Naruto-kun, but you do realize that these missions are normally done with a Jonin sensei and their Genin squad, so they will take long for you, he said. No problem, old man, I can create my own army if I need, Naruto said, placing his fingers in a cross form, channeling Soma chakra, and in a puff of smoke 20 clones appeared in the office. The Hokage jaw hit the floor seeing a 10-year-old pull a B-rank kinjutsu. Where did you learn that? You do realize that techniques is a kinjutsu for its massive chakra usage, he said, trying to make Naruto understand the dangers of the technique. Relax, Gigi, I copied it when I was watching Kakashi and a weird guy named Guy in green spandex shouting something about flames of youth spar. Besides, I have a crap ton of chakra, I can easily make 1,000 clones and still be in fighting condition, he said with a smirk. The Hokage nodded slowly. Kami, he can make 1,000 clones at 10 years old. I know he's a Jinchuriki person with tailed beasts sealed inside, but damn, he will be a chakra powerhouse, he thought. Okay Naruto, since you still aren't an official ninja, I'll give you the missions, and later when you become one I'll add them to your file. Come with me to the mission room, the Hokage said, and they both left the Hokage's office heading towards the mission room. Konoha's mission room. So, let's see what we got here, the Hokage said, going through the available missions. How many do you want? Seeing as you can create a bunch of clones, I think you might be able to clear our workload, the Hokage continued. Naruto pondered. Give me 10 missions, if I have time today I'll do a few more, besides Hinata decided to go visit Kurenai, so I'll have the day for the missions, Naruto said, picking the scrolls and opening the first. Damn cat, Naruto thought as he read the first mission. It was to retrieve a fearsome beast, the name of said beast was Tora, the one-tailed demon cat. Oh please, I got 8 more tails, Kyubi said, besides we can always burn her a crisp and blame enemy ninja, Kyubi said, chuckling, and Naruto's sweat dropped. Few hours later. Come here Tora, here kitty, Naruto said, trying to approach the cat without having her fleeing. Naruto channeled chakra to his legs and jumped, catching the cat. Tora didn't find it much fun as she started clawing him all over the place. Oh hell, I'm tired of this, Naruto said, activating his Sharingan. He looked at Tora and said, Megan, Keisuke no Jutsu, shackling stakes. The Genjutsu paralyzed Tora, and Naruto said, Megan, Jigoku Guka no Jutsu, Hellfire technique. This new Genjutsu made Tora think she was being burned alive. Muwahaha, Naruto chuckled evilly as Tora screamed in pain. Kyubi, seeing this, sweat dropped and thought, I got a dumbass for a container. AN, for evil laugh check. Next mission, helping farmer. Naruto made his way for his next mission. He read the scroll and the mission was to cultivate a piece of land since the farmer didn't have enough time to do it himself. Naruto arrived at the site. The farmer's house was actually almost outside of the village and the land itself was fairly big. Judging from the size of the land, it most likely was for planting the vegetables and later selling them. Naruto approached the client and started doing his job. The client didn't seem happy they sent the demon brat, but at least the Kyubi would working for him. Almost an hour was due and Naruto continued his work using a hoe to groom the land peacefully and undisturbed until slam. A noise echoed through the clearing as the sound of metal clashing. Naruto removed a couple inches of dirt until he saw a metal door in the ground. What the hell is this? Naruto thought as he moved to open the hatch. Once opened, he saw a bunch of stairs that seemingly lead underground. As a curious kid he carefully made his way down. As he was going down, he couldn't help but notice the smell. One of the things of having the Kyubi inside of him was that it gave enhanced senses, primarily smell and hearing. The smell itself was of death and putrefaction. Something isn't right here, Naruto thought as he began to explore what appeared a vast underground base with a long corridor with multiple rooms connected. Checking a few rooms, even him couldn't help himself but to throw up. In one of the rooms of skeletons of people and a few others still decomposing. Going in further and checking another room, he could see vials spread along the table with strange colored liquids, and he wisely decided it would be best not to touch them. As he continued exploring the base, he kept wondering how could this exist here and be kept a secret. Judging by the looks of it, it seemed that whoever lived here left in a hurry. This smell. Snakes, Naruto was thinking when suddenly he pieced together the facts. He read in the library about a shinobi that used snakes as summons and defected Konoha after was found doing twisted experiments with children that he kidnapped. Orochimaru, the snake Sanin, Naruto concluded and made a shadow clone and said, go tell the old man. The clone left and Naruto continued exploring. gazing into the room so he could have a brief idea of what it contained. One of the rooms appeared to be a small study room. Entering the room and making his way to the table, he saw a few seals and a multitude of vials of blood with various names in them: Senju Hashirama, Senju Toburama, Namikaze Minato, and few others Naruto didn't recognize. What could possibly Orochimaru want the blood of my father, not to mention the Senju brothers? Naruto kept wondering until he saw a few notes written in what it seemed to be a diary. He continued reading until that twisted bastard. Hokage office. Hiruzen was having a normal day in his office, and by normal I say he was cursing Minato for leaving him with the paperwork, when suddenly he saw Naruto bursting through the door. Old man, Naruto started, I think I found one of Orochimaru's old bases, to which the Hokage yelled, what? I was doing one of the missions and I was cultivating a field until I hit a metal hatch. After opening it and checking inside, it reeked of snakes and there were dead bodies all over, Naruto said. Anbu, the Hokage said, and in front of him appeared an Anbu with a weasel mask, kneeling before the Hokage and waiting for orders. Bring me Ibiki and Anko. Hi, Hokage-sama, the Anbu said and vanished in a puff of smoke. The Hokage turned to Naruto. Naruto, are the original? He asked, to which Naruto shook his head negatively. Boss is in checking the rest of the base and making sure no one enters it, the close responded. Then tell him to continue guarding the entrance until Anko and Ibiki arrive, then tell him to come here immediately after, the Hokage said, getting a nod before the clone dispelled. Orochimaru base. Naruto was still going through the base until the memories of the clone hit him and he stopped and gathered what he was doing and made his way to the entrance. Naruto waited a couple of minutes before a man and woman dropped in front of him. The man was about 193 centimeters, 6'4", had wore traditional black Anbu pants and a black jacket. He also wore a long-sleeved black jacket and a scarf that covered the top of his head. The man had a few scars in his face. Naruto recognized him from a couple of pranks he pulled. He was Morino Ibiki, a Tokubutsu, special, Jonin, and the commander of Konoha's torture and interrogation force. Besides Ibiki was a woman who had approximately 167 centimeters, 5'55". She wore a full-body mesh armor with a short brown skirt and a long trench coat that barely covered her D-cup breasts. She had purple pineapple-style hair and brown eyes. Naruto assumed that this woman was Anko. Naruto, facing both of them, turned towards the woman and said, I assume you are Anko. I'm the sexy and single Mitarashi Anko, she exclaimed, pumping her fist in the air, to which Naruto's sweat dropped. I was doing a D rank and came across this base, and after exploring it I concluded it belonged to Orochimaru, so I informed the Hokage. My work is done, knock yourself out, Naruto said and left towards the Hokage's office. Hokage's office. Naruto arrived at the Hokage's office and saw him with a saddened and thoughtful look. Naruto assumed it had to do with Orochimaru. After all, he was one of Hiruzen's most prized students, a genius that comes once in a lifetime. However, he got caught in his own ambitions. I'm here, old man, Naruto said, getting the Hokage's attention. I don't even know if this should be called luck or not, the Hokage said, sighing. Was Naruto's genius of an answer. You said that you were low on cash and wanted a few D ranks missions, and you end up finding one of my old students' laboratory. Naruto nodded and the Hokage continued, since you found it, I'm upgrading the mission to S rank. You are never to speak of it, and everything you found and saw inside you are never to reveal. Are we clear? The Hokage said in serious and demanding tone. Hi, Hokage-sama, Naruto replied, as if he was a usual shinobi that brought a small smile to the man's face. I would call it luck, Naruto said, grinning. Well then, I'm gonna get going. See you later, Gigi, he said, and the Hokage nodded. Once Naruto left the room, the Hokage leaned back in his chair, lost in his thoughts. The wonders of D ranks, the Hokage thought, chuckling to himself. He got out of his thought and got back to work. The Hokage looked at the amount of paperwork and yelled. Damn you, Minato. Chapter 9, Academy Days and Graduation. Number 4 years later. The sun is just starting to appear and shine above Konoha. People are starting to open their shops for another ordinary day. However, to some people this is no ordinary day, if you can say so. 4 long years have passed and now both Naruto and Hinata are 14 years old, and today is graduation day. During these last 4 years their growth was tremendous, and if we were to estimate their current level of power, one can say that in terms of skill Hinata's taijutsu is Kage level, same as Naruto's ninjutsu and taijutsu. However, if we were to be realistic, their taijutsu is Jonin level, because, even though they both use gravity seals to increase strength and speed, their bodies are still developing and can't compete against adults with also lacking experience. However, these rules do not apply to ninjutsu, even less Naruto. With his massive chakra reserves that dwarf even the Hokage of the Leaf and reasonable control. In fact, Naruto must constantly train chakra control because of his ever-increasing reserves. In fact, Naruto is a chakra powerhouse in terms of ninjutsu. With his high affinity for lightning coupled with fire and wind natures, all of them offensive ones, there isn't much of an obstacle Naruto can't surpass. In the last 4 years, Hinata has become master of her own taijutsu style derived from the gentle fist, to which she calls flowing fist, which, much like the name says, Hinata, due to her natural flexibility, flows through the enemy, dodging all offensive attacks while closing the enemy's chakra points. Even though her own taijutsu style is extremely strong, she still is very proficient in the original gentle fist. In Naruto's case, his taijutsu style is very different. He trained his father's style and mastered it. However, if the enemy had some sort of shield, attacking the enemy pressure points would be pointless, no pun intended. So Naruto developed his very own style, combining the best offensive style of the Goken, strong fist, and pressure point damage with the defensive style of the Uchiha's interceptor fist, creating what he called Dragon Fist. However, he can add one small twist, if you can call it that. Naruto, after his training in lightning, managed to envelop his own fists and foots in a coat of lightning chakra, which, if makes contact with the enemy, can either massively increase the power of the strike or send the lightning chakra to the enemy's chakra circulatory system to effectively numb the area of the hit. This taijutsu style is called Raken, lightning fist. Actually, since both Naruto and Hinata have wind affinity, they can create invisible chakra wind blades in their fingers. Invisible to anyone without dujutsu, of course. Using this technique, they can inflict damage to wherever they hit, damaging their muscles and disabling the enemy. In the ninjutsu department, one can say Naruto is a monster. With his 3 affinities completely mastered and all of them offensive, Naruto is a force to be reckoned with. His arsenal contains a vast amount of techniques for every affinity, including a few creations of his own. Even though Hinata's has high chakra levels if compared to anyone her age, she has Jonin level chakra reserves when should be Genin. Her advantage over Naruto comes from extreme high chakra control, rivaling Tsunade herself. Due to her control, Sei learned a few medicinal jutsus for self-healing if necessary, since Naruto has the fox's chakra. Going for the genjutsu section, let's just say the Naruto sucks at it. The only genjutsu Naruto is even able to cast without the Sharingan activated is Kokwang-Ayu no Jutsu, Bringer of Darkness, a genjutsu created by the Nidaime Hokage and considered a kinjutsu due to the fact that even after activated it continues to drain chakra constantly. If we check Hinata, due her control, she can pretty much use all genjutsu she knows, but restrains from using the Kokwang-Ayu no Jutsu, Bringer of Darkness, since she can't spend such amount of chakra. In the weapons section, both of them are extremely masterful with kunais, shurikens and senbon, but also kenjutsu. Naruto named the style he and Hinata learned Issei no Ryuken, Dragon's Cry sword style, not my style, read it somewhere. Since the fact their shinobi life is about to begin, Naruto had previously forged their own swords. Naruto's sword was a chokudo, straight single-edged sword, created with chakra metal for his lightning affinity. It was 20 inches long without hilt. The handle was dark orange with black stripes, and in the center the Uzumaki swirl. Check profile for image. Hinata has a similar sword, being the handle in lavender color. In Fuinjutsu, Naruto truly honors the Uzumaki clan. His ingenuity in the art of Fuinjutsu truly is amazing. Naruto is officially a level 10 seal master. Level 10 of 10. Actually, Naruto even has some of his own creations and is currently working on his father's Hirashin technique. However, the Shiki formula of the Hirashin must be created for its own user, so Naruto cannot use his father's kunais. Since the Shiki formula is tied to the user's blood, Naruto has to admit that his father truly was magnificent in creating such a simple yet complex technique. Hinata also has training in Fuinjutsu, but not so extensive as Naruto. Since Naruto used his shadow clone army to pretty much devour every book. In fact, I believe that Naruto managed to read almost every book in the library. One might not believe it, but Naruto focused a lot of shadow clones in politics and laws of Konoha, since he would have to, one day, put up with the council. In the last section we have medical training. Neither of them have extensive medical training. Hinata can use a few simple techniques to heal superficial wounds. However, both of them have pretty good grasp of poisons and antidotes, but also human anatomy. It's in here that the senbon come into play. Naruto can use senbon to mix with his pressure point taijutsu if necessary, but also coat the senbon with paralyzing or killing poison of his own creation. All in all, both Naruto and Hinata are extremely skilled and resourceful shinobi even though they are actually civilians. However, any civilian that can use chakra can be considered a shinobi. Graduation day, Naruto's house. The sun was coming up, its beams breaking through the window. Naruto was peacefully sleeping but began to stir as the sun started shining through the room. Looking down, he saw what most likely was an angel. Hinata was sleeping with her head in his chest, the sun hitting her pale skin making her glow almost like a goddess. Kissing her in the forehead, she started to stir and yawning. Tempted to open her eyes, she noticed a hand slowly caressing her hair. She knew it was Naruto. She didn't want to leave his warmth and tried to snuggle closer to him, burying her face in his chest. Naruto, seeing this, chuckled. "Hina-chan," he started, "we have to get up. Don't forget it's graduation day," he said as he made a kage bushin to go make breakfast. "I don't want to get up." She pouted. "You are required to be my pillow," she stated, to which he smirked. Pulling her chin up, he slowly placed a kiss in her lips, waking up his sleeping beauty. "Come on now, Haim," he said, rolling both of them with him on top of her. He placed a few kisses along her neck, making her giggle. "Fine," she said, finally agreeing with the blonde. Getting up and starting to get dressed. "Hina-chan, it's time," he said, and Hinata nodded. Today was the day their masks would come off. They were more than powerful enough to protect themselves and let the world see who they really were. Of course they wouldn't show off to the world, but the dead last, Dobi, loudmouth blonde, and the shy and kind Hinata were no more. Naruto now was about 165 centimeters, 5'4", and had two fangs of blonde hair that framed his face. He wore orange baggy pants with black flames in the bottom with white strapping in his right leg. He had white jacket with orange endings and mid-length black sleeves. In the back of the jacket it had kanji for 9. He wore black fingerless gloves with metal on the back of the hand, and in each wrist bracelets with storage seals for kunai, shuriken, senbon, and his sword, and small belt with numerous other scrolls. Anyone who saw him now wouldn't even recognize him. Hinata was slightly shorter than him, but if we would compare to the rest of the class, she was one of the tallest person there. She wore black pants with white strappings holding kunai pouch and a white bulky jacket with white fur. She also has a lavender piece of cloth tied in her forehead, a gift from Naruto. Like canon in part 1 without Hyuga clan symbol. "You look handsome, Naru-kun," she said in a sweet voice that sent shivers to the blonde. "Boss, breakfast is ready," the clone said, and brought milk and cereals, bacon and eggs for breakfast. They both silently ate and started preparing for the last day in the academy. Thank Kami, Naruto thought. After breakfast both left the house and headed towards the academy. Hinata was wrapped around Naruto's right arm. It didn't matter anymore who saw them. It was the beginning of their shinobi careers. The walk was rather calm, many of the villagers didn't even recognize Naruto. Arriving at the academy, they realized it was a bit earlier. They made their way to the back of the classroom and sit waiting for their classmates and sensei. Soon after their arrival the classroom started filling, and moments later entered the almighty Uchiha Sasuke, followed of course by his horde of horny fangirls. Sasuke scanned the room and spotted both Hinata and someone with her. Discarding it, he made his way to the first row and took the seat by the windows so he could gaze outside when bored. Moments later Umino Iruka walked thought the door. Said person had black pants and standard chunin flat jacket. He had brown hair tied in a ponytail and large scar across his nose. "Good morning, class," he said. Checking the classroom and noticing he didn't get their attention, he used his patented big head jutsu and yelled silence. Everyone quieted down. Iruka started calling his students to mark their presence, until he reached Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto was about to answer when another one beat him to it. "Looks like Dobi failing again," Sasuke said, getting laughs from everyone. "Are you all blind?" a voice from the back of the classroom said. Getting everyone attention and looking at him like he was a ghost, he said, "Yo," waving his hand, "Present, Iruka-sensei." Everyone was blinking at said person, still processing that he was Naruto. "And Naruto?" the pink banshee, aka Sakura, asked. "The one and only," he said with his foxy grin. The whole class looked at the new look and was a vast improvement over the old one. Gotta say the new outfit looked pretty good. Iruka snapped over the surprise and finished his list. As you all know, Iruka started today as your graduation exam. At the end of the today, those who pass will become shinobi of the leaf. We will start with written exam, followed by weapons, taijutsu, and finally ninjutsu. Now let's begin, Iruka said, and started handing out the exams. As he got near Naruto, a discreet smile appeared in Mizuki. Mizuki was Iruka's assistant, and like many others he hated the demon brat and tried everything so he could fail and have his revenge. Naruto sensed something strange about his exam and discreetly activated his Sharingan and discovered a well-placed genjutsu in his test. Making a half-tiger hand seal and saying in his mind Kai, the genjutsu dispelled and showed the real exam that Naruto started filling, and after 20 minutes he was already done, as was Hinata, and both waited for the rest of the class. "Okay class, time's up," Iruka said, and Mizuki got up and started collecting the exams. After which the class moved to the training field for the weapons exam. "Alright class, you have here 10 kunai and 10 shuriken that you must throw and hit the marks," Iruka explained and started calling names, and each of the students moved forward for the evaluation. "Uchiha Sasuke," Iruka called, and suddenly every fangirl was yelling Sasuke is the best, go Sasuke, show them. Hinata seeing this rolled her eyes and thought, and they called themselves shinobi, Sasuke doesn't even care about them. Sasuke picked up the weapons and expertly threw them at the same time like the elite he was. Every single kunai hit dead center in the dummies, as well most of the shuriken except one that missed the high scoring area. "Well done Sasuke, you got 19 out of 20, Iruka said, and the fangirl group went wild. Sasuke was going back to his place and bumping Naruto said, "Beat that dobi." "Uzumaki Naruto," Iruka called. The blonde simply took the weapons and realized that they were blunt, simply shrugging it off and discreetly channeling a bit of lightning chakra through them so they would stick to the dummy. He threw them all at the same time, hitting every single target dead center. Iruka eyes widened. Good job Naruto, you got perfect score 20 out of 20, Iruka said, congratulating him. The fangirls of courses started yelling that Naruto cheated, and Sasuke simply scowled the blonde. "Hyuga Hinata," Iruka called. Hinata, much like Naruto, walked up and picked up the weapons and without flinching effortlessly threw them, hitting every single target like Naruto. Iruka jaw dropped. What is up today? Hinata never was good in weapons. Congratulating Hinata, Iruka finished the rest of the class and moved to the taijutsu exam. "Okay class, for the next exam you must hold your ground against Mizuki for 2 minutes. Mizuki won't go very much on the offensive, but be prepared," Iruka explained. "Uzumaki Naruto," Iruka called. "Finally, I get my hands on the demon," Mizuki thought. Naruto, seeing the twisted smile in Mizuki's face, decided to make him suffer a little bit. Taking his stance, knees bent with right leg slightly forward. Right arm extended forward with right palm facing the enemy while the left arm coiled near the waist. Iruka eyes widened when he recognized the stance. But that's the gentle fist stance," Iruka said. "Poor Dobi, he even doesn't know what he's doing," Sasuke said, getting laughs from the rest of the class. "Looks like Naru-kun is going to play around for a little bit," Hinata thought with a giggle. "Hajime, start," Iruka said, and immediately Mizuki shot forward with a closed fist trying to punch him. Naruto slightly grabbed his fist and turned to dodge. Seeing Mizuki stumble forward, Naruto slightly touched Mizuki's shoulder, closing one tenketsu, disabling his left arm. "What did you do to me?" Mizuki asked, enraged as he couldn't feel his left arm. "I closed the main chakra point in your left shoulder, disabling your arm. It's over, you can't win," Naruto explained. But how? You don't have the Byakugan," Iruka said. How in the world could Naruto be able to close tenketsus? "True, however the chakra points are fixed in the enemy's network, so I can remember where they are and estimate their location seeing my enemy. After that I send a small burst of chakra for area of effect, since I can't actually know exactly where the chakra point is. But nonetheless it works," Naruto explained. He got surprised faces from everyone minus Hinata. To think it's possible to use gentle fist without their dujutsu, Iruka thought. "You damn brat, you are going to pay," Mizuki said and pushed forward blindly. As he came close to Naruto, he simply smirked and said, "You are in my field of divination." 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. 16 palms. 32 palms. "Haki Rakujuian Shao," Naruto said, finishing his attack, sending Mizuki crashing to the wall and leaving him unconscious. Naruto left the ring area with everyone staring at him. He just pulled a main house secret technique of the Hyuga clan. "Cheater," the fangirls yelled. "How can that dobi defeat a chunin? That power should belong to me, an elite," Sasuke thought, brooding in his spot. Iruka gave everyone 30 minutes interval while he picked up and took Mizuki to the infirmary. "Alright, since Naruto knocked out Mizuki, we are going to have the students fight in one-on-one while I observe," Iruka explained. "Hyuga Hinata vs Yamanaka Ino," Iruka called out. "Poor girl, try to don't get hurt Hinata," Ino taunted, to which Hinata rolled her eyes. It was time to show them who they were. "Hajime." Ino quickly dashed forward. Hinata simply raised her right hand aiming for Ino. Channeling chakra to her palm, she said Haki Kushu, air palm. A blast of air was sent and hit Ino dead center in her chest, throwing her out of the ring and onto the ground, leaving her unconscious. You cheated, it's taijutsu only, Sakura screeched, making everyone bring their hands to their ears. That attack is considered taijutsu, sorry, Hinata explained. What in the world is going here? Hinata was never that good at taijutsu and Naruto always seemed like a street brawler, Iruka thought. Iruka picked Ino up and did quick check-up on her and left her leaned against a wall waiting for her to wake up so she can pit it against someone, since he didn't see her do much. After the taijutsu exam was over, everyone went inside the classroom while Iruka called which student individually for the ninjutsu portion. Uzumaki Naruto, Iruka called, and Naruto got up and made his down the stairs and stood in front of the classroom facing Iruka. Good luck, Dobi, you are going to need it, Sasuke said, smirking. Fool, Naruto thought. Okay, Naruto, please perform the Henge no Jutsu, Iruka said, and there was a poof of smoke, and in front of Iruka was a man that, even though Iruka knew it was a henge, gave him shivers as he looked at his eyes. The man's eyes were glowing and it was the Sharingan. The man in front of Iruka was Uchiha Madara. Why of all people did you pick that man? Kyuubi asked. The Kyuubi despised Madara after all. You may not like him and he may have done more bad than good, but he still was a powerful shinobi and I have his legacy to honor, Naruto thought, getting sneer from the Kyuubi. Interesting choice, Iruka said, discarding the shivers and continuing with the exam. Now get ready for Kawarimi, said Iruka as he picked up a blunt kunai and threw it at Naruto. Naruto switched with a chair that was nearby. Well done, Naruto, now do at least 2 bushins, Iruka said. Naruto always sucked at bushins and Naruto himself knew he couldn't create a single bushin to save his life. Bushin no jutsu, Naruto said, and tried to release the least amount of chakra possible. There was a poof of smoke and in the ground there was a dead clone. The whole class started laughing. Still can't do a damn bushin? Iruka-sensei, is it okay if I use another type of bushin? Naruto asked. Sure, not problem, Iruka answered, wondering what kind of bushin Naruto was going to do. Kage bushin no jutsu, Naruto said. There was a poof of smoke and in front of Iruka were 10 perfect clones of Naruto. Naruto smirked at the reaction of his teacher. Iruka jaw dropped seeing Naruto pulling an B-rank Kinjutsu. Wow, Naruto, Kage Bushin is a Jonin level Bushin, congratulations, you pass, Iruka said. Naruto smirked and picked his Hataye in black and tied it around his forehead. Hinata went shortly after and she too aced the exam, however she could do perfect Bushins unlike poor Naruto. Okay class, the exams are over, congratulations to everyone that passed. This year's Rookie of the Year is Uzumaki Naruto and top Kunoichi is Hyuga Hinata, Iruka said, happy that Naruto passed and not only that he was Rookie of the Year. What? Kiba yelled. How can the dead last be Rookie of the Year? He asked. Very simple, both Naruto and Hinata aced the written exam, got perfect scores in the weapons exam but also taijutsu and ninjutsu, Iruka explained. Is nothing but a loser. I'm an Uchiha, an elite. I demand a duel between us for the title, Sasuke said. It's your choice, Naruto, Iruka said. Let's go outside, Baka, Naruto said, and Sasuke smirked, thinking he could take him on. Hinata just shook her head, knowing where this was going. That idiot'll going to end up in the hospital. Everyone left the classroom and came to the training ground. Naruto and Sasuke stepped inside the ring facing each other, each one doing half tiger seal, signifying they were ready for battle. Now this is a duel for title of Rookie of the Year, you can use anything. However, no crippling or killing strike, understood? Iruka said. Getting nods from both of them, he said Hajime. Deciding to prove his superiority and intending to end this match quickly, Sasuke dashed forward and throwing him a punch. Naruto simply sidestepped the punch, he brought his knee and hit Sasuke's stomach. Sasuke bent forward from the strike, giving Naruto opportunity to give a chop in the back of his neck, leaving him unconscious on the ground. It's done, Naruto said, and of course the fangirls started yelling that Naruto cheated. Congratulations Naruto, you are Rookie of the Year along with Hinata, Iruka said, and both Naruto and Hinata left the academy with her wrapped around his arm. Of course Kiba, seeing this, got mad that Naruto was leaving with his Hinata. However, the rest of the class just kept wondering what happened today. Everyone except Shikamaru that always suspected that Naruto was hiding his true strength. Shikamaru may look lazy and unfocused, but he is also extremely intelligent and observant. Naruto and Hinata were walking together, going to have dinner out as a celebration for graduating and becoming Shinobi of the Leaf. They were walking to Ikirakus when Naruto sensed someone running through the woods. Of course Naruto remembered when Hinata was kidnapped, people running through the woods is always suspicious. Both of them decided to see what was happening and went after that person. #outpost#. Mizuki was running through the woods with a large scroll in his back, unaware that he was being tailed. Stopping near a small shack, he sit on the ground, opened and started reading from the scroll. With the scroll of seals, Orochimaru-sama is going to give more power than I can dream of, Mizuki thought out loud. Naruto and Hinata wearing this were about to jump him and retrieve the scroll when out of the sudden Iruka dropped in front of Mizuki. "Mizuki, how could you do this? You betrayed the leaf," Iruka said. He didn't understand how his best friend could betray the leaf and steal the scroll. "Simple Iruka, I want power, and when I give Orochimaru-sama this scroll is going to give more power that you can dream of," Mizuki said. He pulled couple of shurikens and threw them at Iruka, yelling "Shuriken Kage Bushin no Jutsu." The shurikens multiplied to 20. Iruka, seeing this, hesitated and ended up pinned against a tree. Mizuki took out a Fuma shuriken and dashed forward with it spinning, intending to end Iruka once and for all. Naruto, seeing this, jumped in the middle of them, kicking Mizuki back. "Naruto," Iruka said, surprised to see him. "Hinata, heal Iruka-sensei, I'll take care of him," Naruto said. "Hi," she replied and started healing Iruka. "You damn demon. Have you ever wondered why everyone hates you?" Mizuki asked, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. "No Mizuki, it's forbidden," Iruka yelled. 14 years ago the Yondaime didn't kill the Kyuubi, he sealed it in you. "You are the Kyuubi reborn," Mizuki said, expecting to break the brat so he could escape. "Are you an idiot?" he asked rhetorically. Mizuki narrowed his eyes, wondering how it didn't do anything. "I've known about the Kyuubi since I was 5 years old, hell I've been talking to him ever since. Did you even wonder why I have the kanji for 9 in my jacket? It's because I take pride in being a Jinchuriki. My life may not have been easy, but I'm happy that the Yondaime chose me," Naruto said, getting shocked faces from both Mizuki and Iruka. "Enough talk, and since you broke the third's law I have permission to kill you," Naruto explained. "Try it, Demon Fox," Mizuki said, and took the last of Fuma shurikens and threw it at him. Naruto dodged the shuriken and went through a couple of hand seals and said, "Katen, Gukakyu no Jutsu, great fireball technique." Mizuki's eyes widened when he saw the fireball coming. He jumped to the left where Naruto was waiting and gave him a fierce kick to the ribs, sending Mizuki crashing to the trees. Mizuki barely got up since he got a couple of broken ribs. Trying his best to find the demon brat when suddenly something grabbed his ankle. Looking down, he saw a hand sticking of the ground, grabbing him tightly. "Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, double suicide decapitation technique," Naruto said, dragging and burying Mizuki, leaving only his head out of the ground. Mizuki tried to get out but got nowhere. Naruto picked up the scroll of seals and caught a glimpse of a technique. Opening the scroll, it said Bunshine Daibakua, clone explosion, B rank. Closing the scroll, he put it in his back and went to Iruka as Hinata was finishing to heal him. "How are you feeling, Iruka-sensei?" Naruto asked. Iruka was one of a few people Naruto cared about. "I'm fine, thanks to you," he replied. Moments later, Anbu arrived at the scene and took Iruka, Naruto and Hinata to the Hokage and Mizuki to Ibiki. Hokage office. Anbu arrived with the three of them at the Hokage office. Naruto delivered the scroll of seals to the Hokage. "Well done, Naruto, due to yours and Hinata's help we managed to secure the scroll of seals and catch a traitor. I'm considering this a B rank mission. I saw what happened through my crystal ball and I know you learned a jutsu from the scroll. Just be careful with that one. Anything else I might do for you in compensation?" the Hokage asked. He was secretly happy that Naruto took his training serious. "Actually, there is Gigi," Naruto said, and got smacked in the head by Iruka. "Show some respect to the Hokage, you brat," Iruka said. Don't worry so much, Iruka," the Hokage said. "I want to ask you if I could be on the same team as Hinata-chan and without Sasuke. We both know there will come a time I will need my eyes and I don't want problems," he said, and the Hokage raised an eyebrow considering the request. "I know what you are thinking. I bet you were considering placing me along with Sasuke and Hinata, since Rookie of the Year goes with Kunoichi of the Year, and create a heavy assault team." Naruto explained and continued, "However, you can still get the same benefits if you have Kiba, Sasuke and Sakura for the heavy assault team, and you can have a perfect tracking team along with heavy assault with me, Hinata and Shino, since I have my eyes and I'm a sensor," Naruto finished. "Eyes?" Iruka asked. The Hokage, seeing Naruto asking him what to do, silently said, "It's up to you, Naruto," the Hokage said. "Iruka-sensei, if you promise to not tell anyone until I reveal it, I will tell you," Naruto said, and Iruka replied, "You can trust me, Naruto, you know that." "Look into my eyes," Naruto said, and closed them. Slowly opening them for dramatic effect, they were blood red with 3 tomos in each eye. Naruto's eyes were a fully matured Sharingan. "Holy shit," Iruka yelled. Naruto simply rubbed the back of his head. "That's why you transformed into Madara during the exam," Iruka said, and the Hokage raised an eyebrow. "Of course, sensei, I have a legacy to keep. After all, Madara was my grandfather," Naruto said. Iruka's jaw dropped hearing this. Naruto was the grandson of one of the most powerful shinobi to ever live. "Naruto, you really are the #1 unpredictable ninja of Konoha," he said, and both Naruto and the Hokage laughed. "Naruto, if you have a fully matured Sharingan, how could you be the dead last up until now?" Iruka asked. "Deception is a ninja greatest tool. I listened to some of your lectures, he said, smirking, to which Iruka just dumbly nodded. "All is well when ends well. Naruto, I agree with your request. Be at the academy next week for team placement. See you tomorrow," the Hokage said. "Naruto, Hinata, how about I take to ramen as a thank you?" Iruka asked, and of course Naruto agreed, jumping the air. The Hokage just shook his head, seeing all 3 of them leaving his office. He sighed and picked up the pencil. "No," the Hokage yelled, seeing paperwork pop up out of nowhere. Naruto, hearing the Hokage yell, thought maybe I should tell him one of these days. Chapter 10, Problems. Iruka, Naruto and Hinata walked peacefully to Ichiraku's ramen stand, a thank you from Iruka for Naruto and Hinata saving his life. Iruka got injured by the shuriken rain, but Hinata did a wonderful job healing them. Naruto, Iruka and Hinata sat down at the ramen stand. "Oi, old man, come here, I'm hungry," Naruto yelled. "Oh, Naruto, glad to see you," and Hinata, Tuchi said, and both nodded. "Okay, since Iruka-sensei is paying, you can start with 10 bowls of pork ramen for me," Naruto said, and Iruka widened his eyes, thinking if it was a good idea offering him dinner. "I'll take 2 bowls of vegetable ramen," Hinata said. "I'll take 1 bowl of shrimp ramen." "Say, Hinata?" Iruka said, getting her attention. "Were you faking with Naruto since the beginning?" Iruka asked. "Of course, you actually don't know, but we are boyfriend and girlfriend," she said, giving Naruto a kiss on the cheek, making the blonde blush. "Who would have thought? Damn, you are some good actors," Iruka said, getting chuckles from both of them. "Why did you hide your strength, even your relationship?" Iruka asked. "You know that I'm the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, right?" Naruto asked, and Iruka nodded. "And pretty much all the villagers and almost all of the shinobi hate me for carrying him. To them I'm a painful reminder on that night. You know that they tried to hurt or kill me many times. If the civilian council knew how strong I was, they would do everything they could to stop the demon from getting strong," he said. "The reason I decided to hide our relationship was pretty much the same reason. They would try and hurt her as well. I've already heard some calling her demon whore, and I'll be damned if I would let anyone hurt her. I would faster burn this village to the ground than allow anyone to place their hands on her. So we decided to stay in the shadows until we were strong enough to protect ourselves," he concluded. Iruka was surprised how the #1 knucklehead thought of everything. He would never in a million of years think the Naruto was so clever and insightful. "You certainly fooled me," Iruka said, and everyone laughed. They started eating calmly. "And you, Hinata, I get the feeling that you are not the shy girl," he said, pointing to her. She giggled and answered. "I was shy when I first met Naruto, but over the years I grew out of it, thanks to him. Also, who did you think helped him in his pranks?" she said, laughing, and Iruka's jaw dropped. "Actually, I kinda liked acting shy and letting everyone else brag about how good they are." "How strong are you really?" Iruka asked in a serious tone. "Well, we've never matched against anyone other than ourselves, but the furball says we are around Jonin in terms of taijutsu and ninjutsu. I suck at genjutsu, so around low chunin in that. Other than that, I'm level 10 seal master," Naruto explained, and of course Iruka didn't even know what to say. Poor guy. "Wait, if you are Jonin level, how the hell can't you do a single bushin?" Iruka asked, and Naruto chuckled. "Well, you see, one side effect of having a Baijuu sealed in you when you are young is that you tend to develop large chakra reserves. I estimate I have about 4 times more chakra than Gigi, so, even though I have Jonin level chakra control, I still have too much chakra to perform a single bushin," Naruto explained. Iruka didn't know what to think or do. The academy dead last was Jonin level, had 4 times to Hokage chakra reserve and was a seal master, besides all that he had a matured Sharingan. Iruka did what he could do and fainted. "Oi oi, wake up sensei, you still got to pay up," Naruto yelled, trying to wake the fainted Iruka. Council room. The Hokage was approaching a room. Standing near its double doors was an Anbu guarding it. The Anbu bowed to the Hokage and opened the doors. The Hokage entered the room, and to his left were seated the clan heads of Konoha, also known as the Shinobi Council, and to his left were a few important civilians known as the Civilian Council. Near the Shinobi Council were also seated 3 people. They were Mitokado Homura, Utatane Koharu, and Shimura Danzo. They were former teammates to the Hokage in his Genin days and are currently his advisors or elders. The Hokage made his way through the room and sat in a small table in front of the Konoha Council. "Good evening to everyone. Now, may I know the reason why the council has been summoned?" The Hokage asked in a bored tone. After dealing with all the paperwork, he still has to put up with the damn council. "Yes, Hokage-sama," said one merchant of the Civilian Council as he stood up. "We heard that the Dem. Uzumaki Naruto graduated from the academy. You cannot allow him to become a shinobi, he's too dangerous," he said. The Hokage sighed. He knew that this day would come. Naruto is not dangerous, he's already proven to be a loyal shinobi, but also graduated as Rookie of the Year along with Hinata, the Hokage said, and Hiashi raised an eyebrow hearing Hinata was Kunoichi of Year. This year's batch must be weak, to think that she was the best, Hiashi thought. He's clearly a demon, he stole the Rookie of the Year title from the Uchiha-sama, a pink banshee yelled, making everyone shiver from her freakish high-pitched voice. "You should choose your words carefully, civilian," the Hokage said, raising his ki, making her sweat. "My law is still in effect." "But Hokage-sama, you cannot allow him near the clan heirs, he could hurt them all," a fat merchant said, while the shinobi side rolled their eyes. "Enough," the Hokage said in a serious tone. "Many of you civilians may not know, but Naruto has already saved his village today," he said, getting confused looks from everyone. "As you don't know, today one of the academy teachers, Mizuki, broke into the Hokage's vault and stole the scroll of seals. He was intercepted by Umino Iruka and they engaged in combat. If Naruto and Hinata didn't show up, Iruka would be dead in the village without the scroll. Hinata managed to heal Iruka and Naruto defeated a Chunin." The Hokage concluded and everyone gasped. A fresh rookie from the academy defeating a Chunin is almost unheard of. "You see, Hokage-sama, he's already becoming too powerful, we must kill him now and finish what the Yondaime started," the fat merchant said, trying to reason with the Hokage and put an end to the demon. "You keep forgetting that this is a shinobi village and I, the Hokage, am in command of my forces, my word is law, remember well. This meeting is adjourned," the Hokage said, rubbing his temples. "I'm getting too old for this shit," he thought as he watched everyone leave the room. Later that night. Later that night, everyone in the village was sleeping peacefully, including our favorite pair, Naruto and Hinata. They were sleeping like usual, cuddled together. Naruto had his chest pressed against her back, pulling her closer to him. 2 figures were seen dashing through the roofs. They wore the standard Jonin outfit for Konoha. The Hitayate in the forehead, the Jonin flat jacket and black Anbu pants with white strapping in the ankles. "So you remember the plan?" one of the Jonins asked, getting a nod from the other. "Let's get this over with so we can collect our pay," the other said, and rushed towards the destination. They arrived at the red light sector and very quietly made their way into a house. The house itself seemed old, with a few patched holes in the outside's walls. They approached the window and saw the sleeping pair, the demon and its whore. They decided to make entrance through the roof, seeing that their bed was too close to the window. They quickly and stealthy entered the house and made their way into their bedroom. They were approaching their bed and one said, "This is your end, demon," and quickly drove 2 kunais through both of their chests. The Jonin smiled in victory until there was a poof of smoke and reveled 2 logs with kunais. They turned around and didn't like very much the view. They saw a Sharingan blazing and the Byakugan activated. "Oh, the demon has the Sharingan, he probably stole it when he killed the Uchiha clan, let's kill them," one of the Jonin said and dashed to the pair. "Okay, Hinata, you take one, I'll take the other. Be careful, they are Jonin, we might be skilled but they have more strength than us," Naruto said. "Hi," she replied and dashed to intercept one of the Jonins. With Naruto. "Why are you attacking us?" "It's a crime to attack a fellow shinobi of the leaf," Naruto asked, knowing pretty much the answer. "You know, partner to us, die demon," the Jonin responded and took the kunai and slashed horizontally. Naruto ducked and using his foot he stroked the Jonin foot, making him tumble forward. Using his momentum, Naruto lifted his knee and managed to strike him in the gut. The Jonin quickly recovered and jumped back. "Not bad, demon, let's take this up a notch," the Jonin said and quickly made a few hand signs and yelled Doden, Tsuchi no Yoroi, Earth style, Earth armor, and enveloped his body in strong Earth shell. He's using an Earth shell, good thing my main affinity is lightning, Naruto thought. They dashed forward and exchanged a few blows. Thanks to the Sharingan, Naruto managed to block or dodge every single one of them. However, due to enemies' armor, his strikes were ineffective and he couldn't attack any pressure point. Naruto switched to his own nintaijutsu style, the lightning fist. Naruto charged his hands and feet in a coat of lightning chakra. He dashed forward and went for low kick. The Jonin jumped up to avoid it. Naruto quickly recovered and sent a massive punch to Jonin's chest, destroying his armor and sending him against a wall. "That hurt you, damn brat," the Jonin yelled. They both engaged again, but Naruto had the upper hand. Deciding to end it and going to help Hinata, Naruto sidestepped a punch, and infused his fingers with lightning chakra and pressed hard against the Jonin's head near the ear, discharging the chakra in his vagus nerve, sending the Jonin to cardiac arrest. By the way, the vagus nerve does exist, and if pressed with enough strength messes up with heart's rhythm or something similar. I'm not a medic, rather an engineer, but I know a few things XD. Naruto left the Jonin shaking in the floor and left him to go help Hinata. He turned around to see Hinata having the upper hand until she made a mistake, and the Jonin took the opportunity and went for a horizontal slash. "Hinata," Naruto yelled. He deactivated his gravity seal and dashed at the top of his speed to help her. Knowing that he wouldn't reach her in time, he did the only thing he could and substituted himself with her. Naruto, now in the place of Hinata, was seeing the blade coming closer and closer. His Sharingan could be seen as a curse, for it was showing his death in slow motion. He tried to bring his kunai to block the sword, but it was too late. Just as the blade was about to make contact, Naruto unwittingly channeled a massive amount of chakra to his eyes until they started spinning and reversing its colors. Suddenly everything became even clearer and time seemed to slow down even more. Naruto was watching the blade come closer and closer, and just as it was about to make contact with his skin, the strangest thing happened. The blade continued in its path as if slicing cleanly through him, but Naruto didn't feel any pain. The enemy Jonin didn't know what was happening. His blade seemed to phase right through the demon as if he wasn't even there. The blade left his body as if nothing ever happened. It was then he looked at his eyes. Instead of the blood-red eyes with black tomos, Naruto's eyes switched to being pure black, and in the middle a glowing red cracked circle with 3 red orbs on it. The Jonin didn't know what it was, but it was too late. Check profile for image. Naruto caught the Jonin's hand as it left him and broke his wrist, making him drop the sword. Naruto looked him in the eyes, with his Sharingan spinning, and said Genjutsu, forced sleep. As he said, the Jonin fell to ground unconscious. Naruto turned to Hinata, who was too stunned with what happened that she didn't even saw him approach. "Hinata, are you alright? Are you hurt?" Naruto asked, concerned with her. "I'm not hurt, thanks to you," she said, and hugged him and cried. "I can't believe they would drop so low to attack us in the night. I guess I was too optimistic," Naruto thought. They separated until Hinata looked at him and gasped. "Naru-kun, your eyes," she said. Naruto didn't know what she was talking about and went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror and raised an eyebrow. "What the hell is this?" he thought. "That kid is the next form of the Sharingan, knows as the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. You are very lucky to have awakened it. That particular eyes only awakens in life and death situations or through intense training," the Kyuubi explained. "So that's why that blade passed right through me. It must be a power of it," he thought. "I guess, but I never seen that one in particular. I've seen Madara's techniques using those eyes, but I don't know how to use them, so you will have to figure it out. Deal with the intruders, I'll explain something about those eyes later," the Kyuubi said, and Naruto nodded and quickly went the Jonin that survived and tied him up, placing a chakra restricting seal in him. Couple of minutes later, the body of the dead Jonin was sealed in a scroll that Naruto would later take to the Hokage. He picked up a glass of water and splashed it on the Jonin's face, awaking him. "Hi there, buddy, let's talk now," Naruto said in a sweet voice that sent shivers even to Hinata, that had her Byakugan active to see if he would lie. "Damn demon, I'm not saying anything, you might as well kill me now," the Jonin said, trying to hide his fear at being at the mercy of the demon after trying to kill his lover. "Where's the fun in killing you?" Naruto said, and activated his normal Sharingan and said Magen, Jigoku Guka no Jutsu, Hellfire Technique. The Jonin was trapped in the Genjutsu and felt like he was being burned alive. Since he was tied up and had chakra restriction seal, he couldn't break the illusion. This went on for a few minutes until the Jonin decided he couldn't bear it anymore. "Oh okay, I'll talk. Please stop, he begged until Naruto ended the jutsu and looked him with his Sharingan along with Hinata checking for lies. Listen well, I'll only say this once, Naruto said with his Sharingan glowing, making the Jonin nod quickly. Why did you decide to attack us? Naruto asked. He wanted to know why all of a sudden they decided to take such a direct approach against him. It was a deal, me and my friend would kill you for a payment. The Jonin explained, looking at the corpse of his friend and thinking it was a mistake to accept it, but it was too late now. I see. And who requested the mission? The Jonin hesitated in telling him who asked for the death of the demon. Naruto deactivated his Sharingan and locked eyes with the Jonin. His cold blue eyes that seemed to penetrate his soul made him flinch. It was Tuno Kanta, a merchant of this village and belongs to the civilian council. The Jonin answered, and Naruto already suspected it would have been one of the civilians with wealth enough to wire 2 Jonins. Hinata, he's telling the truth? Naruto asked, and Hinata nodded. Naruto turned to the tied-up Jonin and smirked. What are you going to do to me? The Jonin asked in a fearful voice. He didn't want any more pain, he preferred a quick death. As much I would like to kill you now, I won't. I'm delivering you to the Hokage tomorrow morning with your friend over there, and after that I'm calling for the execution of said civilian. Naruto said, and went behind him and knocked him out with a quick chop the neck. What do we do now? Hinata asked. They were too pumped up to sleep now. It's 4 a.m. The Hokage's office opens at 7, so in the meantime I'm placing a few security seals around the house to make sure this doesn't happen again, he said. Naruto went to Hinata and kissed her. He hugged her and whispered, I'm sorry, it's my fault. They were after me, Naruto said. He was sad and mad that the villagers would try to kill even her. It's not your fault. And besides, don't think this is enough to drive me away from you, she replied and gave him a passionate kiss. Thank you, Naruto said, happy to have found the woman he would spend the rest of his life with. Naruto went to the walls and quickly placed security and privacy seals, and a chakra detector seal lock at the door. With his Kage Bushin, it only took him around an hour to fully seal his apartment, making sure that whoever tried to break in would have a nasty surprise. They both laid in bed with Hinata snuggled together until she fell asleep in the safety of his arms. This wasn't how he intended to start his day. Naruto drifted off to sleep and went to his mindscape to talk with the Kyuubi. So Kyuubi, what did you want to tell me about my new eyes? Naruto asked, excited to have unlocked the eyes that made Uchiha Madara so powerful. Okay kid, this is going to be long story, so shut up and list well, the Kyuubi said, and Naruto nodded. It all began a few thousand years ago. The human race was living peacefully among each other until one day a fearsome beast appeared. No one knows where it originated, but it was too powerful for humans to defeat. Many thought it was a punishment from the gods. The beast itself had 10 tails and was known as the Juubi, 10 tails. Nothing seemed to be able to stop until a man appeared and faced the beast alone. The man managed to defeat the beast by sealing it inside his own body. He would later be known as the Rikadu Sennin, the father of all ninjutsu. The man was hailed as a hero for defeating the beast and was considered by all a god among men. However, he too aged and sooner or later came to his old age. Knowing that in his death the beast would be set free, he split its chakra in 9, thus creating what you know now as the 9-tailed beasts, going from one tail to me, the 9 tails. You are with me so far? The Kyuubi asked. Seeing Naruto nod, he continued. During his life the Rikadu Sennin had 2 sons. The older son received his eyes and founded the Uchiha clan, while the younger one received his body strength and was the progenitor of the Senju clan. In his deathbed, Rikadu Sennin had to choose which of his sons would carry on his legacy. Due to the younger son's ideals, he chose him, however this didn't agree with his brother. His older brother thought that since he was the eldest, it should be him to lead the world in his father's place. Angered at his younger brother and father, he tried to fight his brother for the place, but he lost. Having lost, he realized that he needed to gather more forces and end the Senju line before it even began, but he realized that being alone it would take too long to build a clan, so he did a blood ritual to transform, so to speak, ordinary civilians into Uchihas. Okay, the story ends here. You understood everything? The Kyuubi asked, and Naruto replied, yes, I think I got it. The Rikadu had 2 sons, and older one did blood ritual to increase his clan faster so that he could defeat the Senju brother. That's right. Now about your eye. You see, the descendants of the older brother are pure-blooded Uchihas, while the others that were born out of the ritual were known as half-blooded Uchihas. Nowadays no one even knows that distinction anymore. The key difference between the two is the activation of the Mangekyo. If you were part of the half-blooded side, you would have to kill someone close to you and experience the emotion of that loss in order to awaken it, and, even after awakening it, as you were using your eyes you were constantly losing sight until becoming permanently blind unless you removed your eyes and placed in its place the eyes of your brother, father or someone directly related to you. In doing so you would achieve the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. However, the pure-blooded Uchihas achieved the Mangekyo differently. They activated those eyes in the heat of battle and in life and death situations, and when they achieve it, it was already in its eternal form. The line of pure-blooded Uchihas was Uchiha Madara's line. Since he only had Minato and his brother didn't have any son that we know of, currently you are the last of the pure-blooded line. The Kyuubi concluded. Does that mean that one day my sons would be able to have the Mangekyo? Naruto asked. Yes, since the Sharingan gene is dominant, only one of the parents is necessary, and you being pure-blooded your sons would awaken the Mangekyo in its final form like you, the Kyuubi answered. It's good, I wouldn't even think about killing someone close to me for power. I have a question though. I've read that Madara stole his brother's eyes. Naruto wondered. You can't trust everything you read. He might have stolen them but he didn't need them, the Kyuubi replied. Now that I think about it, that Baka is constantly bragging about being an Uchiha and he isn't even pure-blooded, Naruto said laughing. Thanks. It's almost 7 a.m. I'll see you later, Naruto said and left the mindscape. Naruto got up and picked up the scrolls containing the two Jonin. He and Hinata got dressed and made their way to the Hokage Tower to start the day by giving the old man a nice early, fresh headache. Hokage Tower #. The Hokage was currently leaning in his chair enjoying a cup of hot tea to jump-start him in his paperwork. It truly was the nightmare of all Kages. Suddenly there was a knock on his door. Come in, the old Hokage said. The door opened and he saw an unhappy Naruto carrying two scrolls with Hinata. This can't be good, he thought. Naruto-kun, how are you doing? He asked. We are doing fine, better than these two in fact, Naruto replied and tossed the scrolls to the Hokage. Naruto, what is this? The Hokage asked. Open them and see for yourself. The Hokage opened both scrolls and saw it was a sealing scroll. He channeled chakra through both of them and on the floor appeared a dead Jonin while the other was tied up but awake. Naruto, what's the meaning of this? The Hokage asked in a serious tone. Naruto walked to the tied-up Jonin and removed the duct tape from his mouth and asked, would you do the honors? To which the Jonin quickly replied. We were hired by Tuno Kanda to kill the Dem. Naruto didn't allow him to finish the sentence and it sent him a cold glare with his Sharingan. The man gulped and continued, Uzumaki Naruto. Geez, what a mess. The other is dead, I suppose? The Hokage asked and Naruto nodded. I had to end him quick otherwise Hinata wouldn't be here, he said and placed a hand on Hinata's shoulder pulling her closer. I should have suspected, yesterday council meeting was about you and didn't end well, the Hokage said sighing. At least neither of you got hurt. Don't worry Naruto, the man responsible will be considered a traitor for attacking a shinobi and will be dealt with, the Hokage said glaring at the Jonin. It was pitiful to see a shinobi fall so low that they would try and kill a fellow partner. You know old man, I actually find it funny, he said chuckling. Seeing the confused face of the Hokage he continued, they tried to kill me because they were afraid I would grow up too powerful and would someday attack the village. However they ended up giving me more power, he said activating the Sharingan and shifting into the EMS and showing it to the Hokage. And Naruto, is that what I think it is? The Hokage said with his eyes widened. Yup old man, I present to you my eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he said smirking making his eyes spin. He started explaining everything he knew about the pure-blooded Uchihas and the activation of this eye. The Hokage had his jaw on the floor while he was processing everything he heard. He snapped out of his stupor and said, so that means that Itachi will end up blind, unless he gets the eyes of Sasuke, the Hokage said. That's right, however Sasuke must have unlocked his Mangekyo and knowing him, if he ever finds out about it, he probably wouldn't hesitate to end the life of someone close to him, Naruto replied in a serious tone. I'll try to keep to a watch on him. Naruto in the meantime keep those eyes hidden, now even more. Uchiha Madara was one of the strongest shinobis to ever live because of the Sharingan. You still need to learn how to use them, so keep it quite okay? The Hokage asked and Naruto nodded and left the room. The Hokage flared his chakra and in front of him appeared an Anbu. Take the one alive to Ibiki and Anko. Also get Tuno Kanta and send him to Ibiki as well, the Hokage ordered. I'm really getting too old for this shit, the Hokage thought. Chapter 11, Teams and Missions. The remaining of the week went by without any trouble at all. However, both Naruto and Hinata were extra weary when walking outside of their house. Naruto placed a few layers of defensive seals in his house so his house was very secure. Anyone who tried to force their way in would meet a pleasant 100.000 volts trough their skulls. During the last week, Naruto and Hinata did a bit of a research about the possible jonins that could their sensei. Also, Naruto managed to finish his Hirashin seals. He pressed harder so he could use it to always be present should Hinata need him at any time. However, he still hasn't mastered the technique so it isn't battle ready. Flashback. Both of Naruto and Hinata were at home. Hinata was preparing dinner while Naruto was in the living room working on his seals. "Hey Hinata-chan, come here," Naruto said, and Hinata walked out of the kitchen. Naruto thought she seemed even more beautiful with her hair strapped in a ponytail while wearing a lavender apron. "Do you need anything, Naruto-kun?" she asked. Naruto approached her and gave slight kiss in the lips. "I have a present for you," he said with his hands behind his back, taunting her to try and take it from his hands. Finally giving up, she pouted and Naruto smirked, giving her a wrapped gift. She unwrapped it, found a small ring and gasped. The ring was pure shining silver. It had the form of a fox. The ring started with the head of a fox and ended with its tail. Check profile. "It's beautiful, thank you," she said, hugging him. "Glad you like it, but this ring is special. Not only says that I love you but also contains the Hirashin Shiki formula, which means that if you are in trouble just channel some chakra into the ring and I'll be there in flash," he explained, and she gave him a passionate kiss, showing him her undying love. Flashback. Another thing that Naruto tried to work on during this week was his new Sharingan. He had to admit this new form was fucking awesome. Kyuubi also explained the powers he knew of the Mangekyo Sharingan since he saw Madara using them. Flashback. Naruto was lying in his bed trying to fall asleep but was finding it hard. Since the murder attempt on both him and Hinata a couple days ago, even though he secured his house, he was always on alert. Deciding to pass the time, he went to his mindscape to talk to the Kyuubi about his new eyes. Actually, Naruto changed his mindscape. It was no longer that old sewer, now it was a vast forest with nearby mountains and plenty of animals so that the Kyuubi wouldn't be bored. "Hey furball," Naruto said, and Kyuubi glared at him. "What do you want, brat?" "I was trying to sleep," the Kyuubi said. "I can't sleep, so I just thought you would explain me the new powers I can use with my new eyes," he said. "Like I told you, I only seen him use them. I can't even be sure if you can use them. For instance, that power you used last time, I never saw Madara using it, so more than likely the Mangekyo not always has the same powers," the Kyuubi explained. "Well, that sucks," Naruto replied. "It doesn't mean you can't use them. I will explain the powers I saw, so listen well. First, one of the power is an extremely powerful genjutsu called Tsukiyomi, God of the Moon. Once you lock eyes with the enemy, you can cast the technique and the user is trapped. Inside the technique you are Kami, God. You can create and manipulate everything, even time itself. You can make the time pass differently from the outside. It can be 3 days in your technique, but in the real world it only has been a couple of seconds. The difference in this time varies with your skill. Also, this genjutsu is nearly unbreakable. Another power I saw is called Amaterasu, God of the Sun. It's the highest level of kata ninjutsu known. With your eyes you can summon or put out the so-called Amaterasu flames. These are black flames that burn anything in its path and don't disappear until the target you want is completely incinerated. It doesn't matter if you even use Insuten Jutsu. They never die until the target is gone. The last power, and probably the most powerful, is a defensive armor with offensive capabilities. It's called Susanoo, God of the Sea and Storms. It creates an humanoid-like shaped armor around you. The more chakra you send, the stronger and bigger it gets. I've seen the Susanoo's perfect form, and let me tell you, it's not something you want to face. This humanoid armor also carries a shield for defensive purposes like deflecting more powerful focused attacks, but also a sword for offense. You got all of it? The Kyuubi concluded and asked for confirmation. "I'm awesome, believe it," Naruto shouted, excited with such awesome powers. He still is an idiot, the Kyuubi thought. "Now you know. Leave. I'm going to sleep," the Kyuubi said/ordered. End flashback. With the final week now over, we find Naruto and Hinata at home finishing up their breakfast. Today they would find their teams and meet their Jonin sensei. "Are you ready, Hinata-chan?" Naruto asked, getting a nod. He held her arm and vanished in a lightning sunshine towards the academy. They arrived at the roof not wanting to arouse many questions. They made their way down. to their respective classroom. The room was already filled with their friends, however Iruka-sensei still hadn't arrived. Hinata made her up the stairs and sat in the back row. Naruto of course followed her, but as he was walking he was met by the glare of one Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke was still pissed by losing to the Dobi, the dead last of the academy. How could trash like that defeat me, an Uchiha? Next time he'll beg for mercy, Sasuke thought, smirking. Even thought Naruto had grown up physically but also mentally, he still couldn't resist a few taunts, especially from Sasuke, a fellow clan member so to speak. They stayed like this a few minutes glaring at each other until Sasuke had enough and turned away, plotting the various ways he could ice his brother. Naruto walked up the stairs to join Hinata when another problem appeared in the form of Inuzuka Kiba. "Hey Hinata-chan, how are you?" Kiba asked as he moved to sit next to her. "I'm fine, Kiba." "Stop, that sit is for Naruto-kun," she replied. "How come on, Hinata-chan?" "I'm better than him, an alpha," Kiba said, rubbing his finger in the bridge of his nose. Kiba, of course being from the Inuzuka clan, had a high sense of pride and manliness due to the fact that is male and heir to the clan. "I don't care what you're, Kiba, and I told you that I like Naruto," she said in an asserting tone. Kiba even took a step back. The shy Hinata he knew was no more. "Kiba, stop hitting on my girlfriend," Naruto said as he approached both of them. He passed Kiba, who sneered at him, and sat next to Hinata and kissed her on the cheek to further make his point on Kiba. "Stop pestering her," Kiba yelled, gathering the attention of most of the class and waking up the resident genius. "Damn it, Kiba, do you have to be so loud?" "Troublesome," Shikamaru said as he yawned and tried to resume his sleep. "Just forget him and go back to your cloud watching," Naruto said. "Smartass," Shikamaru replied and went back to sleep. "Kiba, Hinata is with me, so I would appreciate if you stop bothering us," Naruto said, raising his ki, making him sweat and furthering his points. On top of Kiba's head was a small white dog called Akamaru. He was Kiba's partner to their collaboration ninjutsu. Akamaru just said alpha, however Kiba didn't listen and tried to punch Naruto. What no one saw coming was that Naruto didn't move an inch. It was Hinata that got up and gave Kiba a juke and strike to the chest, leaving him on the ground clutching in pain. "Don't you think it was too much, Hina-chan?" Naruto whispered to her. "I'm tired of him always trying to get me to go out with him." Hinata replied, getting a nod from Naruto. I'm giving Hinata a bit of her personality from the movie Road to Ninja. Someone has to keep Naruto in check. Kiba slowly got up and went to a different seat while glaring daggers at Naruto. A few minutes passed and running was heard in the classroom. Suddenly the door opened and in came running Sakura and Ino. "First place," Sakura yelled and trying her best to regain her breath. "What are you talking about? My foot was clearly ahead of you," Ino replied. Sakura took her opportunity to run to the seat near Sasuke, however it was occupied by Kiba. "Kiba, get out so I can sit with Sasuke-kun," the pink banshee said. Kiba simple scowled, wondering what Sasuke had that he didn't. Deciding to prove he was alpha male in the class, he jumped into the table and started glaring at Sasuke. Their eyes a few inches apart. Suddenly one of the students in the row below got up and pushed Kiba forward towards Sasuke. To Kiba everything went in slow motion. He was getting closer to Sasuke, too close. Thump. Thump. His face connected with Sasuke, however this connection was rather unfortunate as they connect with their lips. The entire class froze, seeing the most desired male, which was Sasuke, kissing the alpha male. Shikamaru woke up and stared in the event. Choji stopped eating, even Shino slightly dropped his glasses. "Looks like Kiba finally found his girl," Naruto said loud enough for everyone to hear. The whole male class laughed at the event except the fangirls who were plotting Kiba's murder. Kiba and Sasuke immediately separated, and quickly enough Kiba received his fate at the ends of the fangirls, leaving him in the ground in a bloody mess. Everyone quieted down after the event, and suddenly the front door of the classroom opened and Iruka entered with a stack of papers beneath his arms. "Morning class," Iruka said, and was surprised he didn't need his patented big head jutsu to silence his class. "After today every one of you are now ninja of the leaf, but you mere genin." Iruka started. "The difficult part is only beginning. You will now be divided in teams of 3 members and will be taught by a Jonin sensei. We tried to balance the teams. So here they are. Team 1. Naruto at this time dozed off. Team 7, Haruno Sakura, Uchiha Sasuke, Inuzuka Kiba. Your sensei will be Hatake Kakashi," Iruka said. Naruto was happy that the Sandaime took his suggestion and didn't put him with the Uchiha. Kiba of course wasn't happy he was with the Uchiha. he would need to show him who the alpha was. Team 8, Uzumaki Naruto, Hyuga Hinata, Aburame Shino, your sensei will be Yuhi Kurenai, Iruka said, and of course Naruto and Hinata were extremely happy they would be together in their team. Shino was a quiet person, he always kept to himself. He was logical, a good strategist and long-range fighter, so it was a well-rounded up team. Hinata was more skilled in taijutsu, Naruto was ninjutsu, and they had Shino long-range support. Even if Hinata was disavowed, she still kept her name since she wasn't adopted. Team 9 is still in circulation. Team 10, Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, Akimichi Kuji, your sensei will Sarutobi Asuma. I will be leaving now, your senseis will be here in a moment, Iruka concluded. Hinata-chan, can I trust Kurenai-sensei? You know her, right? Naruto asked. You can, she's a good and kind person but also a strong jonin. She's like a big sister to me. Are you going to tell her about the Sharingan? Hinata replied and asked. I think I should, I mean we are going to a team, right? He asked and Hinata nodded. The classroom door opened and 2 jonin entered. The first one had the traditional jonin clothes. He wore black onbu pants and the jonin flat jacket. He was a tall man with black spiky hair, brown eyes and beard. He also had the 12 Guardian Ninja sash with the kanji for fire. This person was Sarutobi Asuma and was the son of the Sandaime Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. The other jonin was a very beautiful woman. She had shoulder-length black hair, red eyes. Her regular outfit consists of a red mesh armor blouse with only the right sleeve visible. Over this is very broad material which resembles bandages with a pattern on it similar to those of rose thorns. Her hands and upper thighs are also wrapped in bandages. She is Yuhi Kurenai, Konoha's genjutsu mistress. Team 10, meet at the training ground 12 in 30 minutes, Asuma said and left. Team 8, meet at the training ground 8 in 30 minutes, Kurenai said and also left. Naruto got up with Hinata and Shino and they both walked out. Once outside the classroom, Naruto went to Shino and grabbed him and used lightning sunshine towards the training field. Kurenai was currently waiting at the training ground, she thought it would be a while until they arrived. She sensed chakra around her, she got up and saw their team arriving with the sunshine. She saw it was Naruto that used it. Naruto, you can use the sunshine? She asked, one normally doesn't see a genin using the sunshine. Even though it is a D-rank techniques, it uses quite a bit of chakra. Yes, I can, Kurenai-sensei, Hinata-chan can use it also, he replied. What do we do now, sensei? Hinata asked. We introduce ourselves. Names, likes, dislikes, dreams for the future, stuff like that. I will go first. My name is Yuhi Kurenai, I like learning new genjutsus and working in my garden, I dislike perverts and traitors. My dream is to the best genjutsu user and a strong kunoichi. You're next, Naruto, she said. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, I like Hinata-chan, training and ramen. I dislike traitors and ignorant people. My dream is to be the best Hokage Konoha has ever seen, he said, looking at the Hokage mountain, more specifically at his father's head. He turned around to Hinata. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I like Naruto-kun, cinnamon rolls, training and flower pressing. I dislike people that hurt Naruto and traitors. My dream is to become a strong and brave kunoichi and get rid of the Hyuga's pride. She said, spitting the name Hyuga. Even though she hated her father, she would do her best to help her former clan. My name is Aburame Shino. I like bugs. I dislike people who mistreat and don't understand bugs. My dream is to become a good clan head. Shino said. Very well, Kurenai started. Naruto and Hinata have already been training for some time so they can work well together. I expect the same for you, Shino, she said, getting a nod from him. I don't expect any type of problems between you, so we are officially a team. Now I'm going to test you to see your abilities. It's now 9 o'clock, your objective is to capture me until noon. Got it? She asked. Seeing all of them nod, she disappeared into the forest. The group came closer and started discussing their plan. Kurenai was hiding in the forest, near a tree using a low-level genjutsu when she saw Naruto approaching at full speed towards her. Figures, the report said he was the dead last but also brash and loud, she thought. Naruto threw a blind punch to which Kurenai dodged and returned his punch. However, to her surprise, her punch went through him, revealing it to be a bug clone. She shook them off and jumped back. She scanned her surroundings and her eyes widened when she saw a fireball coming to her. She jumped to the left where Hinata was and got hit a few times before substituting with a nearby log. Her team regrouped to plot another plan, since the first almost worked. Kurenai was watching even more carefully since she was caught off guard in a hinged bug clone. She had a few close chakra points but nothing too major. Kurenai was jumping from tree to tree when against her came a barrage of shuriken. She dodged to the left and engaged with Hinata in taijutsu, noticing she was being overrun. Kurenai jumped back and something caught her ankle. She looked down and saw Naruto pulling her down, trapping her. Naruto jumped off the ground and Kurenai was replaced by a log. "Damn, she always escapes," Naruto said. "If I used real attacks I could easily win," Naruto thought, disappointed. Kurenai decided to hide herself in a high-ranking genjutsu while she was resting. Their team was no pushover. She felt her chakra almost all gone. Shino's bugs must have been draining her while she was distracted. She snapped out of her thoughts when she heard Suten, Suishuha, exploding water wave, Hinata said. Raiten, Jaibashi, electromagnetic murder, Naruto said. The combination of this was an electrified wave of water forcing Kurenai to jump up. Naruto was expecting this and gave her a drop kick, sending crashing to the ground. Kurenai got up but suddenly was unable to move. She looked around her and heard Fuinjutsu, four-corner trap seal, Naruto said. They finally caught Kurenai, trapped in a trap seal. This technique works by placing a seal in 4 places forming a square. When the target is inside, the user can activate and automatically freeze the enemy in place. Congratulations, you are all very good. Hinata, your taijutsu along with Naruto is impeccable and so is your ninjutsu. Shino, you provided long-range support and you drained a good chunk of my chakra. Your clan's skills seem good but you will need elemental ninjutsu as well. Naruto, I didn't know you knew Fuinjutsu, Kurenai explained. Since we are going to be a team there are a few things I need to tell you. I believe I can trust you, Kurenai-sensei and also Shino, Naruto replied, getting nods from both of them. First, Kurenai-sensei already knows this but not Shino. They say that the Yondaime Hokage killed the Kyuubi but that is a lie. The Kyuubi cannot be killed. It's true that his physical body can be destroyed but he would reform later on. Since he couldn't be killed the Yondaime only choice was to seal him inside a newborn baby. Me. The Kyuubi is trapped here in my gut. Naruto said, a bit hesitant about his reaction. I understand if you want to change teams, Naruto said, looking at Shino. Nonsense, Naruto. For starters, I already knew about the Kyuubi since my bugs could detect its chakra. Besides, I can relate if on a small level. My clan uses bugs that are inside of us as well, so the village always is a bit uncomfortable when dealing with us. Shino in a stoic voice. Thank you, Shino. Just one thing, the Kyuubi, it's a Hinata it. He's a nice guy once you get to meet him, Naruto said, and Shino raised an eyebrow. Naruto, how can you say he's a good guy? He nearly destroyed the whole village, Kurenai asked, outraged. Sensei, I can't tell you everything but I can tell you that the Kyuubi was being controlled by the Sharingan, and was forced to attack the village, Naruto said. Kurenai wanted to argue but Naruto wouldn't budge. Speaking of Sharingan, Naruto said and activated his I'm a Sharingan user. Since we are a team, I'm trusting you with this information. I'd like to keep this a secret until I reveal it, Naruto said, and Shino kept his stoic face. However, Kurenai was doing a very good impersonation of a fish out of water. And Naruto, are you an Uchiha? Kurenai asked. I am on my father's side. I'll say no more until I reveal my heritage. Naruto concluded. And you already have it fully matured, Kurenai said. Yup, I awakened when I was 5, and when Hinata was kidnapped I killed the kidnapper and got the 3 tomos, Naruto said, and Kurenai's jaw hit the ground. Are you saying that you killed a Jonin when you were 6 years old? Kurenai asked. The only thing I can say is it was pure luck. He underestimated me, a paid to price, Naruto explained. Don't worry, Naruto, we will keep it a secret, you can trust us, Shino said. Naruto, I have one question. You obviously are very skilled, so why were you the dead last? Kurenai asked. What do you mean? It's true that I was the dead last during the academy to hide my true strength, but in the last exam I graduated as Rookie of the Year, Naruto said. But I read your report and it said that you were the dead last in everything, Kurenai replied, confused. I get it, the person that filled the reports must have been an ignorant, and since I was the Kyuubi she filled me as dead last, probably putting Sasuke as Rookie of the Year. It doesn't matter, actually it's even better. Now the enemy will underestimate me, Naruto said, and Kurenai just shrugged it off. Okay team, meet here tomorrow at 8 a.m. We will train in the morning and do missions in the afternoon. Kurenai said. The day ended with Naruto and Hinata going home, happy that both of them were on the same team.